What if the deepest fear you carry isn't death, failure, or rejection, but the silence that creeps in when life feels empty? It's that strange moment when everything seems fine. You have food, comfort, maybe even success. Yet a quiet voice inside whispers, "Is this all there is?" And the more you try to silence it with distractions, achievements, or pleasure, the louder it becomes. This is the battle we rarely talk about, not against external enemies, but against a void we cannot name, a kind of invisible hunger that no meal, no trophy, no relationship ever fully satisfies. You know it, that restless scrolling late at night, that hollow feeling after the party ends, that subtle despair when your goals are reached and life doesn't magically transform. It's the same old emptiness, dressed in new clothes. The human struggle with meaning isn't an intellectual puzzle. It's not just philosophy or theology or psychology. It's visceral. It lives in your chest. It wakes you up at 3 a.m. and asks questions you can't answer. We tell ourselves stories to escape it. We cling to routines. We binge on entertainment. We lose ourselves in ambition. But underneath, the void waits patiently, like a shadow that never leaves. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Maybe the emptiness isn't a mistake. Maybe it's not even something to get rid of. What if the void is trying to tell us something? Imagine a man in ancient times, thousands of years ago. His life is brutal, short, and uncertain. Every day he wakes up with one mission: survive, hunt, gather, build fire, protect his family. There is no question of purpose. His purpose is forced upon him by necessity. Now, imagine us. We sit in climate-controlled rooms, with food a few steps away, and a world of entertainment in our pockets. For the first time in history, survival is not our daily crisis. And so, stripped of necessity, we face a more terrifying problem. What do we do with ourselves? The void shows up here, in the gap between what we need to live and what we need to feel alive. It's like climbing a mountain, only to discover the peak is flat and featureless. You thought at the top you'd find revelation, but instead, you're left with silence. That's the paradox of modern existence. Comfort gives us life, but it also exposes the hollowness beneath. Why do billionaires still fall into depression? Why do celebrities overdose in their mansions? Why do ordinary people with good jobs and stable lives secretly drown in despair? Because the external victories cannot cure the internal ache. Think of the human soul like a vessel with a hole in the bottom. You can pour in money, achievements, praise, even love, but sooner or later it leaks out. You wake up empty again, and instead of fixing the hole, we keep chasing more to pour inside. This is why addiction thrives, not just to substances, but to everything. Social media, work, status, even self-improvement. It's not always greed, it's desperation, a desperate attempt to outrun the silence. But the silence cannot be outrun. And the more we resist it, the stronger it grows. Here's the paradox no one wants to face. Emptiness isn't the enemy, it's the signal. That restless ache, that gnawing sense of something's missing. It's not a malfunction in the human design. It is the design. Think about hunger. Hunger is uncomfortable, even painful, but without it, you'd starve without noticing. Hunger isn't your enemy, it's your body's alarm system pointing you toward food. Emptiness is the hunger of the soul. But here's the problem. Most of us mistake the signal for the solution. We feel the ache of emptiness, and instead of listening, we rush to smother it. With busyness, with consumption, with noise. We treat symptoms, not causes. What if emptiness isn't a void to be filled, but a compass pointing to what truly matters. There's a reason saints, philosophers, and mystics across centuries all speak of a kind of dark night of the soul. They understood something we've forgotten, that the ache itself forces transformation. When the distractions fall away, when the parties end, when the applause fades, you're left naked with yourself. That's when the questions arise. Who am I, really? What do I want my life to mean? What am I willing to suffer for? These aren't questions comfort can answer. They require confrontation with the void, and maybe, just maybe, emptiness is not a flaw, but the doorway, the place where the illusion of having it all collapses and the real search begins. Consider Siddhartha, the man who would later be called the Buddha. He was born into wealth, luxury, and every possible comfort. His father built walls around him so he would never see suffering. But when he finally slipped outside those walls and witnessed sickness, old age, and death, something shattered in him. For the first time, he felt the void, the hollowness of pleasure, the ache of impermanence, and that emptiness became the beginning of his search, not the end. Or think of Tolstoy, one of the most celebrated writers in history. At the height of his fame, he fell into despair so deep that he confessed he considered ending his life. Why? Because success, wealth, and recognition had all betrayed him. They couldn't quiet the gnawing question, why live at all? That collapse into emptiness forced him to strip away illusions, to search for meaning not in applause, but in truth. Even Nietzsche, who wrote of God's death and humanity's burden, saw emptiness not just as despair but as a challenge, the challenge of creating meaning in a world where none is guaranteed. He called it the test of becoming who you are. These stories remind us the void is universal. The ache is not proof of failure. It's proof of being human. And yet, in our modern world, we've built entire industries to keep us from feeling it. Endless scrolling, constant stimulation, an economy fueled by your fear of silence. But history whispers another message. Those who dare to face the emptiness instead of running from it are the ones who uncover something deeper. And now it's your turn. Because this isn't just about Buddha or Tolstoy or Nietzsche. It's about you, sitting here listening, perhaps already feeling that strange emptiness inside your chest. You know the moments, when the crowd leaves and the room goes quiet. When the achievement you fought for suddenly feels meaningless the next morning. When laughter fades into silence and you're left staring at the ceiling, wondering why you feel so hollow. That is the same void they faced, the same shadow that has haunted every human who ever lived. And the question is, what will you do with it? You could keep running. You could drown it in distractions, pile up achievements, or chase pleasures like a gambler stacking chips. But if you do, the silence will only grow louder. Or you could do something far more dangerous. You could stop, listen, let the emptiness speak. And if you dare to do that, something shifts. The void stops being a threat and starts becoming a teacher. It whispers truths you've buried beneath noise, that the career isn't everything, that the applause won't last, that comfort alone is not enough. It asks harder questions. What do you love enough to suffer for? What meaning would you die for if you had to? And what would make you truly alive, even if no one else ever noticed? It is in this confrontation, not the avoidance, that your life begins to take shape. Not the life handed to you, but the one you dare to carve out of the silence. There comes a moment when you stop fearing the emptiness, when instead of running, you sit with it, raw, unguarded, exposed. At first it feels like drowning, The silence is unbearable. The questions are sharp, like knives cutting into the illusions you've built. But if you endure it long enough, something unexpected happens. The emptiness begins to open. It's like staring into a vast canyon. At first, all you see is the drop. Terrifying, endless. But then you notice the beauty of it. The way echoes carry, the way the sky feels bigger above it. The void doesn't just consume, it reveals. Out of that space, a strange clarity is born. You realize you don't need to fill life with everything. You just need to give yourself to something. Not everything matters, but something does. And it's the emptiness that forces you to see which is which. It's why the artist finds meaning in creating beauty, even when no one applauds. It's why the parent sacrifices sleep for the child they love. It's why people risk comfort, reputation, even life itself for a cause bigger than themselves. Because when the void strips away the superficial, what remains is what you're truly willing to live for. And maybe that's the gift of emptiness. It burns away the lies. It dismantles the false promises. It clears the ground for something real to take root. So here's the truth. You will never escape the void. Not through money, not through love, not through endless distraction. The emptiness will always find you. Because it isn't your enemy, it is your mirror. It reflects back the truth you've tried to avoid, that life is fragile, fleeting, uncertain, that nothing outside you can carry the full weight of your soul. But in that truth lies a strange kind of freedom. Because once you stop running, once you face the emptiness head on, you realize something profound. You don't need life to be endlessly full. You just need it to mean something. And meaning is not found in what you take, but in what you give yourself to. Not in escaping suffering, but in deciding which suffering is worth it. Not in filling the silence, but in listening to what it demands of you. One day, the emptiness will visit you again. Maybe tonight, maybe years from now. When it does, remember this. The ache you feel is not proof that your life is broken. It's proof that you are human. The void is not there to crush you. It's there to call you to something deeper, something truer, something only you can answer. The question is not whether the emptiness will come. The question is, when it does, will you finally listen?